All right, hello and welcome to Doppler IOTA. And I don't know if I would call myself a host, but I'm the person. And this is my second video. So, I guess in my first video, I laid out my channel and also I noted that my audio was rather shit. So, hopefully, um, hopefully, because I moved my camera and microphone closer, my audio will come through better. Um, which is why you can see my glorious mug in more detail. I am sorry, you have to bear witness to it, but bear with it. That's all I can ask. Yes, bear with it, like and subscribe. But hopefully I can use this second video as in addition to introducing who I am and more so and stating why I'm doing this as a jumping off point into the very first topic that I'm going to discuss. So, so one of the things that's the reason why I'm doing this is because I can't actually do what I thought I was going to be doing when I was a kid and actually be an engineer. So I went to college for like 6 years to get a uh, my bachelor's in engineering, and it's meant all the fuck all. Like literally, all it was 6 years to get a basically a worthless receipt that says, "Hey sucker, you owe $44,000 to the government." And it's not the best feeling, but it's one of those things where um, I guess like I recall in the last video I said I'm in the middle on a lot of things and I'm of two minds with the most top button issues. This would have to be one of them. Student loan debt as it pertains to millennials or Gen Z, um, and how I feel about it. So, despite the fact that when I was 18 years old, every adult in my life convinced me that I should sign a piece of paper um, that says I owe Uncle Sam buku bucks. Um, I can't completely say I was guiltless in the exchange, if you understand what my meaning. I mean, I did sign that paper, I did make that commitment, and to some degree, should be expected to pay for it. And it sucks. It sucks that every adult in my life led me astray. It sucks that as a naive 18-year-old, I didn't look at the fine print or look at a different or better way to do things, but it's how it went down. It's not the best thing ever, but I'm not going to sit here and act like I had no choice in the matter. Um, uh, it's not something I'm thrilled about, but it's a level of personal responsibility that I would be childish to ignore. That being said, I was still, although I was technically and legally an adult, um, I think an 18-year-old who knows nothing of the world shouldn't exactly be fit, if I can insert personal opinion, to sign a document that carries that much weight. That's not trying to obfuscate or trying to avoid my part in that I played in my own debt, but it's just I don't think that's entirely fair. Which kind of brings me to um so I don't know how many people watching this or any people, if anyone will watch this, but how many people who are going to watch this know about can't see the bottom of my glorious beard, know about Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle, who in my opinion is the best comic currently breathing, uh, recently had a uh, how did you describe it? A disagreement with the broadcasting studio, the company that he used to work with. What was it? Viacom, CBS, I believe, about his old show. Now, when he was a young up and comer in the entertainment industry, he basically signed a contract that basically said, "We'll give you a show, but we will earn all the money from it." And as probably someone who was still green and making his way in Hollywood, he took it, and he took thinking it was probably the best offer he was going to get, and probably everyone in his life was telling him it's like you'll never get a chance like this again. It's like this could make you big, and in a lot of ways, I know for me at least, that's probably a lot of people's introduction to Dave Chappelle. I know I watched like that was my introduction to Dave Chappelle as the entertainer, the figure, the man himself. And I know people were like, although it was overwhelming support and everyone boycotted not Netflix but the actual show itself, and refused to watch it on any streaming platform until Dave Chappelle was allowed to get royalties from the show. Um, but a lot of people, although showing support, there were some who made, myself included, who when they heard the situation were just like, I mean, yeah, it sucks, but you did sign the contract, and there is a level of personal responsibility you have to take for that choice. And the reason why I myself was able to give him the benefit of the doubt is because I immediately thought of my situation, which kind of seems condescended, not condescending. I'm sorry, conceited. That's the word I was looking for. Conceited that you could only empathize with someone if you've experienced something similar. But that is, how people come to understand one another through shared experiences. And though I've never signed $1 million contract ever in my life, I I did sign basically a contract that says I owe someone $40,000. And at the time, everyone in my life was telling me that that was a good idea. And now, with retrospect, I see that that might have not been the best choice to make in life. And I'm of two minds with this, because there is part of me that is just like you signed this, and it's like you gave your word and you have to make peace with that choice. But at the same time, it's like one could argue that these powers took advantage of someone young who was ignorant to the ways of the world or the business, and used them as an opportunity to get a quick and easy buck. Now, maybe the only reason I'm willing to give Dave Chappelle the benefit of the doubt is because I've adored his content ever since I was in middle school when I first watched the Chappelle show. And maybe that's the only reason why something that I would normally go like, sucks, buttercup, suck it up. You signed a contract. Maybe the only reason I'm willing to look at his situation differently is because I admire him that much. But I was able to at least think from that perspective. And I think there might be some merit to that way of thinking. But at the same time, personally, that doesn't mean we should go like, oh, this person has more power. Therefore, since you have more power and you have more say in the power dynamic, it's not fair, and this person should be let out of their obligation. Like, even though everyone in my life, all the people who were supposed to be looking out for my best interest, told me to do this thing that inevitably landed me in $44,000 of debt, did that, and I went down that direction, and I now have a useless piece of paper that's not getting me any sort of prospects or any advantage against anyone else in the job market. It is unique in that this is something that isn't an uncommon story. My story isn't a rare one. This is my story is the story of, like, I don't want to misquote because we live in the era of everyone having easy access to Google and statistics, but I would say at least 2/3 of my generation, the millennial generation, have are subject to this same unfortunate reality. And I don't know, because this is one of those things where it might be it might be prudent to take a side on, it might make sense, but I don't want to ever live in a society where you can immediately escape blame because it's just like, oh, I'm young, I didn't know any better. Because then you'll have a situation in which we're allowing people to get away with, I don't want to go immediately to murder, but just with mistakes that you should suffer consequences for. That way you learn. But I don't think maybe $40,000 is a consequence we should saddle the next generation with. I feel like that's a detriment to our society as a whole. That's not to say I'm a Bernie bro or I agree with him or Ocasio Cortez, but I see where they're coming from. And I would hope that anyone who is more conservative leaning could also, like I did for Dave Chappelle, look at my story and look at how my understanding of the situation and know that I'm willing to take personal responsibility, but I also want the future, in the future, that we don't put children in this situation where they have to take responsibility for starting off their adult life with maybe like $40,000 of debt. But those are my thoughts. Sorry if it was a little boring and meandering, but it was just something I felt like discussing and sharing. I hope it opened your eyes. I hope it wasn't too anecdotal. I hope you look at this through a new lens, and I hope you were able to take something from my story and my experience. Um, Come back again when I have another idea for a video. And I do have a few ideas for a video, and hopefully I'll be able to put out more than just once a week. Until then, farewell and stay thinky.